Going to be a stream that I am very passionate about. This is going to be NWS Watches, Warnings, and Emergencies, as well as a deeper look into tornadoes. So let's get started. The true basis here is that watches, warnings, and emergencies are all used differently, although warnings and emergencies are used around the same way. All of these are relatively self-explanatory, right? You really do want to be paying attention to all watches and warnings, because these are not issued to scare you. They're issued to let you know that there is something that is going to happen or that is happening. We're only going to be going over thunderstorm and tornado watches and warnings today. I can definitely go over all the rest in a future stream. Obvious reminder that all tornadoes are violent, and that no tornado is safe. I didn't realize I added that extra N there, but you know what? Pretend that doesn't exist. No tornado is safe. Also, keep in mind that meteorology is a relatively new field in science. And I'll be getting into some of the things about that in just a little bit. So let's get started with your watches. Right, your watches are that you need to be watching for potential. All watches are issued hours in advance. They cover a very broad area, so they'll be over many counties, and these are always pre-event. So these will be issued hours in advance, so before the storms even form, let alone come into your area. A severe thunderstorm watch, marked here with this upper one here, is with a yellow outline, and everything within all those counties within that yellow outline is under the watch. And notice how all watches follow county lines. A severe thunderstorm watch indicates that there is favorable conditions for severe thunderstorms to develop, and are valid for around 5 to 8 hours. There is the PDS Severe Thunderstorm Watch, which is a particularly dangerous situation severe thunderstorm watch, and those are reserved for quote high-end end quote events. So that would be usually your derechos or squall lines. Though usually squall lines do not get PDS watches, they usually just get your normal severe thunderstorm watch. Or in this case, when it would be traveling through your area, there would be a bunch of warnings along the squall line. You have your tornado. Second, you have your tornado watch. Your tornado watch is the lower picture here, marked in red counties. The tornado watch indicates not just favorable conditions for severe thunderstorms, but specifically more favorable conditions for tornadoes than what would normally come out of your severe thunderstorm watch. There can be overlap or just a tornado watch inside of a severe thunderstorm watch. And these are valid for around the same time as thunderstorm watches, around 5 to 8 hours. Also, keep in mind that these are over such a broad area and are issued and are valid for so long, because while there are the ingredients there, it's not known precisely where those storms will hit, so they're giving a broad populace the chance to just watch for the potential for these storms. Right. So we are on to our warnings. These are the most dangerous of those. This is indicating that you need to act on the threat that is happening. All warnings are issued during the event. So these will be localized. They have specific criteria. And notice how these do not follow county lines. All of this is happening within just a county, so there is no need for it to follow a county line. Your severe thunderstorm warning will be a harsher yellow box seen here. It's a little hard to see because of the quality of this image, but it is along here. And it is by a thick yellow box that is not filled in with yellow. It is just allowing the viewer, say you're watching the Weather Channel, allows the viewer to see where the severe weather is. Like I said, specific criteria. A severe thunderstorm warning is issued if a storm has 1 inch hail or greater, gusts of 58 miles per hour or 93.3 kilometers per hour or greater, or a tornado. That's the key difference. You can have these two or a tornado. Your tornado warning, which is shown here, and a note is that the arrow indicates the tornado and storm direction in this case. The warning of the tornado warning will be in a cone. See how this isn't just a box. It's a polygon. It spreads outwards to show that the storm direction can change just a little bit from the northeast path that it'll take. A tornado has to be either radar or spotter/law enforcement confirmed. A special thing is that law enforcement can call in a tornado, and that will be marked as absolutely valid. A law enforcement personnel do not have to be spotters. They are spotters to the NWS. And note that a storm with a tornado will receive a T-storm warning as well. So let's say that this severe thunderstorm warning wasn't here and a tornado warning was issued, then this T-storm warning would be issued as well, because that's one of the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. It makes sense here because simply, if a storm is severe enough to form a tornado, it already likely has gusts greater than 50 miles per hour and may have more than 1 inch diameter hail. Before we go on, a little side note about hail is that hail is actually a pretty good indicator about how strong the updraft of a storm is. Note that baseball and softball size hail requires an updraft around 80 to 100 miles an hour or more, which is insanely fast for upwards winds. So that wind is moving against the gravity, and that's pretty intense. Keep in mind that those types of hails would be around 3 to 4 inches across. Nothing to sneeze at. Note that there actually are different types of tornado warnings, right? These do not have a special color to differentiate from regular warning. They are all this red polygon cone, right? We already went over your warning. These are issued during event, like I said, and they first expire within 30 minutes to an hour, and these can most definitely be lengthened. There is the PDS tornado warning, which is the particularly dangerous situation tornado warning. These can also be called emergencies. They may also be a complete reissuance of the warning, so they'll have a little bit different wording to them. And please note that this does indicate a much higher threat than just a normal tornado warning. Last but not least, you have your pyro tornado or pyronado. This type of warning was only first issued in 2020, last year, August, in California, because due to a fire, and it was issued because of pyrocumulonimbus, and this simply means just cumulonimbus that was formed because of a fire. I can't say for certain if there will be more pyronado warnings in the future. I guess these aren't actually pyronados, they're more of just tornado warnings that are being spawned from fires in a way. But there's no way to tell if there will be more of these warnings or if they'll become an actual thing within the NWS. Now, before we go on, is there any questions or comments, concerns? Okay, I am not seeing anything, so I shall move on. If you do have any questions, just type them as I'm speaking. There's nothing wrong with that. So there is the emergency. This only applies to tornadoes. If you are under a tornado emergency, you are in severe danger and you need to act immediately. The first tornado emergency was issued for the Bridge Creek Moore tornado of May 3rd, 1999, and has only been issued 7 more times in U.S. history, for a total of only 8. They're still technically unofficial, although they are sent as an SVS, which means severe weather statement. No, I did not mean SWS. That is called SVS. This is a complete overhaul of the warning, so there will be completely different wording. And a quick note here of all the tornado emergencies that have ever been issued. You have the 1999 Moore, Oklahoma, like I said earlier. 2007 Greensburg, Kansas tornado. 2 tornadoes that happened very, very close proximity to each other, not only in terms of location, but in terms of day as well. 2013's Moore and El Reno, Oklahoma tornadoes. Your 2019 Beauregard, Alabama. 2019 Kansas City, and 2020 Mississippi tornadoes. Please note that all of these are EF4 tornadoes or higher. All of these tornadoes were extremely, extremely dangerous. So, aside from that note, the tornado emergency indicates that the tornado is long-lasting and presents extreme threat to property and presents extreme threat to human life. I cannot overstate just how important or just how dangerous a tornado emergency is. I wanted, before we go any further, I do want to do a brief tangent on tornado warning history. Something interesting is that the word tornado was actually banned from usage by the Weather Bureau in 1890 when it was founded, even though the NWS was founded in 1870. But let's not worry about that. This was the word tornado was banned to dissuade panic due to unreliability in forecasts and in direct observations because it wasn't, tornadoes weren't known very much at the time. I mean, even to this day. The ban was only taken back in 1938, and soon after that, a spotters network was started, which has grown in the US to be around 700 to 800,000 spotters. The ban on issuing tornado warnings to the public, however, was only lifted in 1950. And it wasn't until 1953 that the connection between supercell and tornado was truly known. There was still speculation, but by then it was finally known that supercells cause tornadoes. And then a brief tangent on a few record tornadoes. The longest tornado in history is the Tri-State Tornado of March 1925. It created a 235-mile-long path, which is just shy, which is a couple dozen kilometers shy of 400 kilometers. It was on the ground for over 3.5 hours. Over 600 people died. It is important to note that it is possible, although not known, it's only speculated, that the Tri-State Tornado could have actually been multiple tornadoes. Especially in Missouri. But again, this is not truly known if it was multiple tornadoes. The widest tornado in history is the May 31st, 2013 El Reno tornado. It was 2.6 miles or 4.20 kilometers wide. I believe it's actually like 4.17, but don't worry about that. And here in this picture, you can see just how insanely wide this tornado is. No, that's not how wide the funnel is. That's how wide of an area the tornadic winds were. The condensation funnel, the funnel cloud, was not even close to that big. The fastest wind speeds a tornado has ever produced, there has been multiple. Since there were no instruments for recording the Tri-State Tornado, the Tri-State Tornado has estimated winds of around 300 miles per hour. The 2011 and 2013 El Reno tornadoes, yes, there were two. Oklahoma gets hit by tornadoes very frequently. There is a possible estimate of 295, which is 474.5 kilometers per hour, and a confirmed the 295 was from the 2011, and a confirmed 302 or 486 kilometer per hour winds from the 2013 El Reno tornado. But the true fastest was the 1999 Moore, Oklahoma tornado, Moore Bridge Creek, which is this track noted here in A. That's the 99 tornado. That had a confirmed speed of 318 or 511.8 kilometers per hour. That is absolutely insane. That is how fast aircraft go. And these are winds that are rotating extremely fast counterclockwise. That is absolutely insane. The fastest forward speed is the Tri-State Tornado, which had a relatively long a long tracked distance, estimated to be around 73 miles per hour, or 117.5 kilometers per hour. Likely just through Illinois alone. Keep in mind the Tri-State did not keep that 73 mile per hour forward speed. Tornadoes change speed very frequently. And I wanted to go over the El Reno tornado a bit more, because this tornado has a lot that we can learn from. So the El Reno tornado was on the ground it was only on the ground for 40 minutes, which I say only 40 minutes, but that's actually an extremely long time for a tornado. The funnel cloud, which is the actual visible tornado, was around 10 times less wide than the actual tornadic wind zone of the tornado itself. And you will see video of this if you look it up. You could not tell that the tornadic winds were this wide just by looking at it. It has this little jut right here because it actually looped. It looped right at the end of its life and then dissipated. This tornado, around right here-ish, made a sudden left turn and then looped back around and then went on this path over here. Tornado, I want to make this very important statement. Tornado movement on the ground is impossible to predict. You cannot predict the way a tornado is going to travel on the ground. If you are spotting a tornado and it does not seem to be moving, it is right towards you. If the tornado does not seem to be moving left or right, you need to get out of there and likely travel either south or east to get out of its path. I really, really wanted to show a video of the El Reno tornado, and I wanted very specifically to show that there were well over 100 spotters that tracked the El Reno tornado. I also want to point out that around 5 died because they were caught out. Usually with spotters, you'll see them chase a tornado, but in this case with the El Reno tornado, if you look it up, and I'll try and find the video and the specific timestamp for anyone who wants to watch, you will see that more spotters are running away from this tornado than chasing it. It is absolutely insane. Aside from that, let's move on from that. Let's wind down now. I wanted to go over some tornado myths and tornado conceptions. There's one of the conceptions that I've never really known about, but I've known a lot about, but I actually didn't know that that people thought about this. Was that green skies? I always knew that green skies. First of all, you're taught as a kid that green is not the color of the sky; it's blue. So even as a little kid, and I live in Illinois, so you can assume that, to be honest, we actually don't get as many green skies as you'd think. Not as many as you think. But even as a little kid, I remember there being a green sky, and I remember thinking, oh no. Right, because... Getting a drink there, sorry. That is not the color of the sky. Even as a little kid, you know that a green sky is not a good thing. But green skies do not equal tornadoes. They do roughly equal a severe storm, though. It's also not really known why the skies turn green during some storms either. A very, very big misconception is that you want to open your windows during a tornado. Please, please, please do not open your windows. If you open your windows, you are allowing that tornadic winds to go inside your house and actually lift the roof off of your house easier. Granted, if you are going to get a near hit or direct hit from a tornado, there's no point anyways. But still keep them closed, because opening those windows will, number one, take time away from you getting to your safe spot. And two, will never, ever help you. Overpasses. Please, again, please, 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 for the love of God, do not go to an overpass, even if you're on the road during a tornado. Overpasses forces the wind to go faster, and that will only worsen your chances. I actually didn't know about this one, but southwest basement corner. While the safest spot to be when you're spotting a tornado, actually above ground, is south or east, or better yet, southeast, maybe? The southwest corner of a basement that's below ground is not relevant to your safety. The best spot, if you want to be truly, truly safe, the best spot to go during a tornado in your basement is under the basement stairs or in the most interior part of your basement. Preferably a room, not just the middle of the basement, but an actual room in the middle of your basement. This is a big one that I've heard as well. You cannot get tornadoes in big cities. This is completely false. A tornado just hit Chicago less than a week and a half ago. Less than a week ago, tornado hit Chicago. Yes, it wasn't the big city, but it was still the suburbs. And Chicago has what, like maybe 10 trillion suburbs? And those are all part of Chicago. So it did hit Chicago, although technically no. Tornadoes have also hit Salt Lake City, which is SLC here, Dallas, Fort Worth, and New York City have all been hit by tornadoes. And yes, I put the timestamps relative to when they got hit. In 1999, Salt Lake City got hit by one. Dallas got hit by a tornado in 2019, and New York City got hit by a tornado in 2020. This happened, the Chicago tornado happened at night, and people didn't take the warnings seriously because people didn't think that tornadoes can hit big cities. So people didn't pay attention to the warnings. As of right now, I do not know how many people died due to the Chicago tornado, but I do not think that it was that many, which is thankful. But still, please pay attention to warnings. And even watches. I know that with me, I get a little twinge of dread down my spine when I know that I'm under a tornado watch. Because, you know, there's that just that elevated chance. So the last thing to talk about here is your tornado preparedness, safety, and what to do. For preparedness, you want to know what the tornado risk is. This is relatively easy to know, especially in the United States. West of the Rockies, you're fine. East of the Rockies, you're usually not. Even in New England, even in Maine, you can still get tornadoes. For the record, tornadoes have hit every single state of the United States. That includes Alaska and Hawaii. You need to know the signs of a tornado. The biggest one is rotation, right? The biggest one is rotation. You need to practice your routine. And I actually did this with my family around 2 months ago. And around May, I told them, you first of all, you want to tell your family before you do this. You don't want to say there's a tornado warning and freak your whole family out. You want to ask them if it's okay, and then make sure that everyone has the free time to be able to do it. What is it? I did mine on a Saturday. I announced to my I announced that there was a fake tornado warning and that we needed to go in our basement. And so we got all of our pets, we have 4 pets, down into the basement and stayed there for around 10 to 15 minutes and then went back up. Simple as that, right? But that's not exactly the case of what you really need to do if you're actually under tornado warning. You would need to have flashlights in case your power goes out. You need to have first aid for yourself and others, food and water, and a safe place or a basement to put, not only to put this stuff in, but to keep yourself safe. A place to, preferably underground. A storm cellar also works too. Tornado safety. You need to be attentive to your weather radio. I have one in my home. It's on the first floor. If we're under a tornado watch, we will have that on. Usually we actually don't have it on. Not particularly because of right now. Not just because we actually don't have the Bloomington weather radio signal right now, but just because we haven't really fully truly needed a use for it as of for around 2 years. Tornado safety, you need to help check on others and yourself, hopefully after the fact. After the fact, if your town did get a direct hit from a tornado, you need to stay clear of power lines and help injuries to yourself first and then others. This last one here, say you are under a tornado warning. What do you need to do? If you're at home, the first thing to do when those sirens go off is to stay calm. Becoming panicked and running around the house won't help anything. So the first part is to know that you just need to stay calm. I know that may be hard to do when you hear those sirens go off, but I've had personal experience with this, where I've actually had 2 experiences with this, where the tornado sirens went off, and I had to very quickly, but at the same time very calmly, grab my cats, and in the most recent case, my dog, to make sure that everyone was safe. So while you're staying calm, if others are sleeping or have not heard the siren, hello, Cod. How you doing? So as you're staying calm during that tornado, while the sirens are going off, if others haven't heard it or others are asleep, you need to warn them immediately. That is your first objective, to make sure that everyone knows that there are sirens going off. My mother actually had to do this one time where that I actually wasn't awoken by sirens in the middle of the night, and that she actually had to carry me and my brother to the basement. This was many years ago. Oh god, it's okay for your tardiness. That's okay. You're at like probably the most important part here. This is tornado safety preparedness and what to do here. This is the last slide. If you do have pets, this can, I mean, just fish, hamsters, whatever. It doesn't matter. Cats, dogs. You need to grab them, and obviously go to the basement if you have one. I know that every single house in the Midwest has a basement. Ooh, lightning strikes nearby. I'm getting the gust front. I'm getting the very beginning of a storm here, boys. Hold on, let me see here. Hold on, I need to check my radar real quick. Oh, yeah, here it comes. That's an idea. I could totally do live storm reporting. I'm not gonna do it right now since there probably isn't gonna be that much to offer. Just heard a little bit of thunder right there. I don't know if that came through. That's pretty nice. I'm not gonna be taking a shower anymore. I was gonna take a shower after this because I wanted to finish up before this came through. But if it's coming in relatively fast, so I'm gonna finish this up and then go watch some storms. So the last thing, so say that you're on the road and your phone starts blaring at you that there's a tornado warning. What do you do? The first thing to do is remember that you cannot outrun a tornado. You cannot outrun a tornado. Let's be real. Most tornadoes you probably can, but it's not worth doing. The second thing to do is do not go to an overpass, please. Most roads, at least here in the US, on the side have a ditch, mainly to catch cars actually. On the side of them, in between, specifically on highways, in the median, between the lanes, they have a ditch, and on either side they do. Go to there. Go to the deepest ditch there. Lay flat on your stomach and protect your head. That would be the safest thing to do if you encounter a tornado on the road. So, leave me alone. It's a good drink. That's all I have for today. If there's any questions, yes, protect your head with your hands. It's essentially aircraft. It's essentially brace for impact with an airplane. You know where you put your head to your knees and you protect your head with your hands. You want to be doing that, but just laying flat on your stomach. The mainly just protecting your head with your hands part, clasped fingers, and with your elbows near your eyes, right? As long as you're protecting your head with your hands, that's fine by me. I have personally never had that experience before, though. I have had 2 experiences with tornado warnings in my house, though, where I had to grab my cats that we just got, so clearly not enough trust there. For like 2 months we had them. You've never been on a plane, COD? What? You're insane. A flying one? Okay. How have you not been on a plane? Don't step on my cat! Get off my keyboard. Oh my god. Okay, gotcha. I see. But I mean, I already said those two experiences with tornadoes, but it was a little frantic trying to get our girl cats because they don't exactly like being picked at. But that is all it for today. One of the longer slides that I've done. I'm happy about that actually. I like them longer than shorter. But I don't want to postpone anybody. I don't want to postpone myself watching some storms. So, thank you so much for everybody who came. Thank you, Friedno, for the new follow. I very much appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much. And and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you very much.